Hey, how's it going, everybody? If you're new here, welcome in. And if you've been here before, welcome back. I'm Rollshambo, the connoisseur and collector of all things sharp and shiny. And today I wanted to do something that I haven't really done before. I'm going to do a shot of the collection, but I'm focusing specifically on my American-made knives. Here in 2024, I am trying to do more American-made knives than I have in the past history. There's a lot of great knives made here in the US, and even though we're getting our butts kicked on the manufacturing front as far as knives are concerned, I still do believe that some of the best knives that money can buy are made right here at home in the great US of A. So with all of that being said, I'm going to be showing you my American-made knife collection, and we're going to start off with this bad boy. This is my modified Spyderco Paramilitary 2. Now, I know what you're thinking. Whoa, what? You took a fully American-made knife and you modified it. What's wrong with you? Hear me out. This is a knife that I've modified 100% with American-made parts. So, with that being said, this is a DLT exclusive with crew wear. It features a DLC coated blade. Sharp dressed knives made these scales. These are custom dark matter red carbon fiber scales. It has the blood money OCD for EDC compression made easy, deep carry MXG titanium pocket clip, and a dark matter red carbon fiber backspacer by Rip's Garage Tech. And it's only appropriate that we follow that up with my other Paramilitary 2. This one is also modified, but it is also 100% American made on the modifications. This is the Blade Ops exclusive in LMAX with the Emerson Wave built in. The reason why I justified getting a second Paramilitary 2 is because with this Emerson edition added in, it takes the flat grind and it turns it into a saber grind that is extremely slicey. The scales are full titanium rock scale design scales made right here in the US, as well as the hardware and the backspacer. The pocket clip is yet again an MXG deep carry titanium pocket clip. Continuing with the Spydercos is my first actual Spyderco purchase ever. This is the Spyderco Manix 2. As you can see, it is not modified. We did put another pocket clip on it, which I'm not allowed to show you just yet because this is going to be in a mod competition. But it is, in fact, the S30V variant with black DLC blade. Great knife, the Spyderco Manix 2. It was one of those knives that really set me down the enthusiast path, and I think that if you want one, you can't go wrong with the Spyderco Manix 2. And the last Spyderco in my collection is the Spyderco Para 3, and this one has also been heavily modified. If you can't tell, I love modifying Spydercos. This one has the DNA lasering scales with the 5x5 Combat Solutions pickpocket. That's a wave. It allows you to deploy the knife the moment it comes out of your pocket, just like it does on this Blade Ops Edition Emerson. That being said, it is an add-on made right here in the US. S45 VN steel titanium scales, Pacific Suns titanium pocket clip, also made right here in the US. It's just a really sweet, smaller carry version, and if the Spyderco Paramilitary 2 is a little too big for you, this one will definitely get the job done. Now, I couldn't talk about my collection without talking about one of my crown jewels. This is the Strider AR .75, and this knife is one of my favorites, and I can't really explain why. For some reason, I just really like it. I did put my own edge on here because I found that the original edge geometry wasn't pleasing for my cutting experience, and so I laid that bevel back, and it slices really well. The ergos on here feel great, and it is a hefty design. You know, make no mistake, this is not a small knife, and if you like light knives, this is definitely not for you. But if you like knives that have a certain aesthetic, a certain appeal, the Strider AR .75 is going to be one of those heavy-duty frame lock knives that really can get the job done. Breaking in the action on this knife was an experience. It was a journey, and it's one of those things that I really enjoy. It's got an S45 VN blade, titanium scales, titanium bent clip, and it's really just a badass American folder. And when we're talking about badass American folders, we cannot do so without talking about Microtech. This is the Microtech Ramlock Stitch. It's an overbuilt knife and one of the Microtech's using the new proprietary ram lock system. This is a knife that I absolutely love. It looks gigantic, but because of this massive finger choil that allows you for a perfect choked up position, there's actually not a ton of blade length there, making this really good for utility cuts or for self-defense if that's your jam. The Microtech ram lock stitch was one of my favorite knives I picked up in 2023, and that opinion has not changed ever since I got it. An acquisition from here in 2024 is the Microtech LUDT Gen 3, and guys, this is definitely a contender for knife of the year. They changed up a lot of really great things on the LUDT for the Gen 3s, and I definitely think that people should check it out. They've upgraded the looks. We have a titanium backspacer. The action is running on bearings, which for an automatic knife is fantastic. And I gotta say, I'm not typically an automatic knife guy, but this is definitely one of those rare exceptions to the rule. And to round out our Microtechs, this is actually the first Microtech I ever bought. This is a Microtech Spartan Tonto version blade. This is a crazy out the front knife, but it was actually a lot of fun. The Microtech Ultratech is one of those knives that is iconic, and it's also a knife that is used as a standard for other out the front knife companies to kind of meet. You know, whenever you look at a new out the front knife, people always want to know, does it have more or less blade play than the Ultratech? Has the button as good as the Ultratech? Is it stiffer? Is it lighter? So on and so forth. This is one of those knives that people compare other knives to by default, and that's how you know that it's a good tried and true design. This is actually a knife that I still carry. I love using this knife, and it's definitely one that I'm glad to have in my collection. Now, it wouldn't be an American-made knife collection if I didn't at least have one Protech. This is the KnifeJoy exclusive Protech Strider PT Plus, and this is their Grinch edition. This is one of those special editions that they came out with around Christmas time. That's why we've got the Grinch face right here. This is a beautiful piece of pocket jewelry which you can actually turn around and use. This specific one has a hand polished, hand ground, compound ground blade by Mike Irie and a black pearl trigger button. The action on Protechs are very undeniably good, and it's super addicting to just sit here and fire this time after time after time. I love the fact that it features that classic Strider blade shape, and it's super comfy in the hands. It's not a very big knife. This is actually going to be one of those knives that is small, but it feels big, and that is great. It's a beautiful knife that looks good and works good, and I'm really impressed with the KnifeJoy Protech Strider PT. Now we're getting close to the end. This is my Three Rivers Manufacturing Merlot Micarta Shadow. And the Shadow is actually a rather impressive knife. It's built to get lots of work done. It's got very thin blade geometry, very good edge geometry. It's very slicey, 20 CV blade, this beautiful milled and contoured Merlot colored micarta, super comfy in the hands, very good for a choked up grip with that finger choil right there. It's light, it's not super heavy. The action on here is very good, and I think that this is one that proves why it's always sold out. I don't think I've ever heard anyone truly complain about a TRM Shadow. I know that I haven't. This is one of my favorite American-made knives in my collection, and I definitely think that if you can get your hands on one, you definitely should. And then last but not least is a knife that I didn't know existed, and when I found out that it did, I ran out and bought it before they sold out. I'm really glad that I did. This is the American Blade Works Model 1. Now, this one is a Blade Runner HQ exclusive, and that's why it has this 80s camo carbon inlay, which looks beautiful. Titanium body, cryo-treated magna cut that's cryo-treated to 63 to 64 HRC, which is perfect. We've got this milling on the handle scales, which provides for an excellent grip, and it is laser thin behind the edge. This is actually thinner behind the edge than my TRM Shadow. A lot of people compare American Blade Works to TRM, and I gotta say they do a great job holding up for themselves in that competition. Well, here it is, guys. These are all of my American-made knives. What do you think? Is there anything in here that you were surprised to see? Have you checked out all of these knives on my channels? Videos exist on every single one of these knives on my channel. I'm really interested to see if that's a shocker to you guys. Which one of these is your favorite? Do you have any of these? Are you looking to get any of these? Let me know in the comment section down below. And if you want to watch more awesome knife and EDC content, make sure to click on one of the videos that pops up next.